welcome to Seen Through Glass. Today, I'm finally filming a video that I've been trying to make for about 4 years. I'm going to be introducing you to Scott, or Rattarossa. Now, lots of you will know about Rattarossa. He's got a big social media profile, he's collaborated with lots of other creators, and many of you have been asking for me to film with him for quite a long time. And that's because Scott Rattarossa is a big Ferrari fan. I mean, even a bigger Ferrari fan than me. And over the last 5 or maybe even 10 years, he's basically taken things into his own hands and built, modified or restored some of his dream Ferraris. His collection, which he has essentially created himself by piecing cars together, is now fairly incredible. So yeah, I'm in the 360 and we're off to find Rattarossa. Now, before I get to Scott, I know lots of you are watch people, so you would have noticed that I'm back wearing my Omega Speedmaster Schumacher edition. I haven't worn this watch for a while now, but I absolutely love it. And wearing it reminds me to remind you about one of my sort of constant partners here on Seen Through Glass, Chronext, where I bought this watch. Chronext stock over 7,000 watches from like nearly 50 different makes. At the moment, they've got an IWC Big Pilot Top Gun edition, which I'm just obsessed with. Also a really nice Tag Heuer Carrera I spotted, but loads of watches to select. And any of the watches on their website pass through their workshop, meaning they're offered with their 2-year warranty, and you can choose to try before you buy by getting one of their watches delivered to one of their boutiques. You can go check it out, look it over, and if you're happy, you can purchase it then and there. Amazingly, Chronext offer all of you a discount for being amazing Seen Through Glass viewers. So yes, if you use my code STG when you buy a watch from Chronext, you'll get a discount. So if you're looking for a new watch, or like me, you just like doing a bit of window shopping, I'll put a link to Chronext below. Go and check them out. Anyway, somewhere around here is Scott. Look at this for a driveway. 1, 2 Stradales, and there he is!
Sam,
Scott,
finally, mate.
How are you doing?
How many years have we been trying to do this?
Is it 4 years?
I think it's more than that.
No.
I had no idea about YouTube, and then someone sent me a video that you did that I went to an event at, I think it was 2016.
Oh my God,
car.
you are right! I filmed this thinking at the time that it was I don't know, should I say genuine challenge Stradale? I mean, it is. I mean,
yeah, I think I had you fooled, didn't I? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Rightly so. Yeah. This one, nut and bolt, is a Stradale, but it wasn't made at factory by Ferrari as a Stradale. It started out as a Modena, exactly the same as your car.
Which is amazing. So essentially, yeah, what we're looking at are cars that you have built or restored maybe to be the cars that you wanted that maybe didn't start life that way.
Absolutely, yeah. You might kind of gather from this that I have a little bit of an addiction to the prancing horse cars. And,
we share that, don't worry.
we do. So I built this 12.5 years ago.
Oh wow. I thought it was more recent than that.
No, long time ago.
Okay.
And yeah, I had previous red Ferraris, got to my 30s and decided I was going to be sensible, stop the Ferraris, decided to buy a phone box instead. And
that makes no sense to me.
Yeah. It's red, right?
You can't drive it.
That's a whole nother story, yeah. Okay. Big problem there. But anyway, I then decided, and at the time, prior to this car, the Stradale was never on my radar. I didn't actually like the car when they brought it out.
You didn't like it?
No.
Okay, see you later, mate. Good to catch up. Yeah. No,
I should be strung up for that, for sure. I love it. Somehow, it then, I don't even know why. Suddenly, it was on my radar, and I desperately, you share this then.
Yeah,
desperately wanted a Stradale.
Okay.
Now this was, like I say, 12.5 years ago. There was not the cult following that Stradale has nowadays.
Well, how much were they going for back then?
Back then, the cheapest one I could find, a right-hand drive, it was a blue car, tan leather interior, £65,000.
Oh my God.
Slightly higher mileage.
Yeah.
Nice car, really nice. And in fact, the blue cars look really good nowadays.
I mean, I would jump off a bridge to buy a Stradale for 65 grand right now.
I know, crazy. But crazy, talk about crazy, this was me. I wanted absolutely my perfect spec. I wasn't going to do anything else. I didn't want a red one. I wanted a black one, stripe, yellow calipers, red and black Alcantara interior, roll bar, fire extinguisher, the full shebang. And right-hand drive. It has to be right-hand drive because we're here in the UK. So I looked probably for about 6 months to a year, couldn't find one, and Crazy decided, well, let's just build one. Right? So
I mean, how many people have had that thought in their lives? I'm not sure many.
I don't know. So anyway, we bought a basic 360 Modena F1. Had to be F1 because the Stradale. There was no cult following for the manual gearboxes either back then. Found this car, £41,000. I think it had 18 or 19,000 miles. Full Ferrari history. It was mint when I bought it. A little bit better than it is today. But I had decided that this is what I was going to do. So in the meantime, while I found this car, I had acquired a lot of Stradale parts. Now, they were expensive. They were quite rare back then. Nothing like they are today. You just can't get Stradale parts unless you're me.
Yeah. But wait, how did you have a spreadsheet? Did you have a book of what parts you needed to get?
I'm just a nerd. I don't know. I pick up these things. I learn them. There's another guy that you filmed with before, 360 Trev, good friend of mine. We built these around about the same time.
Okay.
So kind of, we learned
swapping
off each
notes.
other. Yeah,
I need this suspension part.
Late
I need
at
this
night,
water.
Trev, I found this part over in the US. Anyway, we found basically a lot of the stuff. The problem with this kind of build was I didn't really intend to do a nut and bolt Stradale when I went down this route. It was kind of do the bumpers, do a few things.
Okay,
and then
so it's going to be a bit of like an aesthetic thing initially.
Then you go down that rabbit hole.
or you go down that rabbit hole.
A lot of people have been there, right? And then it becomes an addiction and you go nut and bolt. So it took me about 3 years eventually to find every single part to change this car into, essentially a Stradale.
So is it 100% a Stradale now? Is everything?
A couple of little things that are not, genuine Stradale. Front screen, for example, the Stradale is slightly thinner, a bit more lightweight. That didn't really bother me. If at some point I need to change the screen, I'll put a Stradale one. I don't even think you can get them anymore, to be honest. But
it's hard enough getting modern screens, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple of little things, and then one of the hardest bits that took me 10 years to find was in the interior here. Over there, the silver footplate. Now, because it's right-hand drive, there were very few Stradales built for right-hand drive market, and I had on order with Ferrari at factory that part, £30 part. 2 years later, they said, "Look, forget it. We're not going to build that for you. We're not going to make you one of those," and they cancelled my order. So it took me 10 years to find one of those.
Wow, because people might not know, with Ferrari you can call up the factory and say, I need a new fuel cap for my Stradale, and they'll go okay, but they want to wait until 30 or 40 customers need them, and then they'll build a batch and send you one. But if you don't get the additional orders, they'll never do it.
I should have just ordered 10 of them.
Well, now with your following online, you could have had a real business. But I mean, I don't think my audience are going to be surprised by the fact that we connected or we met due to a challenge to Dali. So that's obvious. The thing though that they may be surprised about or maybe more intrigued by is that because
this one.
That launched you online, I guess,
did,
right? More so than this card. This is me. This is very me. But that's a car that I think the internet went, what is that?
I do say, can we swear on your channel a little bit?
I'll bleep it if
I drive this car and I can literally see people's jaw drop and mouth the words, what the It's hilarious.
It's hilarious because, look, so essentially we are looking at the Vatterossa, a Testarossa Spider, in some sorts, which Ferrari did make one of.
They made one of, and when I bought this car, not long after, the car that they built, the one of one for Gianni Agnelli, a silver car, it actually went for sale, and I think it was something like 1.4 million that sold for.
Ridiculous.
Almost as much as I paid for this.
I'm sure that's not the case, or I hope it's not the case, but I actually don't know. What is this? Was this a prototype? Was this a recreation? How come you got the second?
This is the one that Ferrari built that they didn't. No.
This
is one that I found on a kit car forum over in the US. I had a 1990 red Testarossa at the time. I was looking for parts, and this turned up on a Google search. It was on a Lamborghini kit car forum.
Right.
And I looked at it.
So what's it, Diablo underneath or something? Or?
No. Yeah, so I looked at it and I thought, oh, it's a kit car. And then I looked at it again. I'm like, that's actually real, right? It was
As in, you noticed it was a real Testarossa?
Real Testarossa, yeah, 1987 car. And the advert, this was a few years ago now, probably about 6 or 7 years ago. The advert at the time was also 3 years old, so I thought the guy had sold it, and it was a really good price. Managed to get hold of him, and he's like, yeah, as with most projects, it's sat in the back of my garage over in California.
Just like it still is today.
And, and he was like, yeah, I still got it. Oh, well, do you want to sell it? Well, yeah, okay, why not? And so, to cut a long story short, this car was bought for £16,000 with the shipping, which is quite expensive, with the import duty, all the taxes. And to give you an example, at the time, when I looked on eBay, the engine or a gearbox for a Testarossa was £18,000 alone, just a gearbox or just an engine. So there was always a plan B. If I didn't get this back on the road, I could
swap in
parts, yeah.
But how come it's a Spider?
So, we don't really know what the whole story is on this one. I was told that there were kit car Testarossas built on Pontiac Fieros. They used this car for the moulds. Then they decided, oh, it would look good as a Spider. So they then cut the roof off and created moulds. And then, apparently, they were sued by Ferrari and told to cut up all the moulds. How true that is, I don't know. I think personally,
great story.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story, right? But I think personally, somebody got drunk one night and decided to take their hacksaw and cut the roof off. Literally, you can see here.
Okay, so
the bad weld.
Yeah,
right? Not the bad weld, the bad cut.
I love how ratty this is, and it's brutal when you get up close. I hadn't realised. I mean. It's interesting workmanship.
Yeah, high quality. You know.
But I kind of adore it because for me this is the antithesis of a Ferrari owner. I mean, you're basically a collector these days, mate.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, Ferrari owners wouldn't be seen dead, I don't think, in this, but because of that, it's so interesting and exciting and amazing. It's like a sort of barn find gone wrong.
Yeah. So when I bought the car, I didn't fly over to America. It wasn't in the budget to look at it. So I got the guy I had to work out how much of this build I had. So I got the guy in a nice big driveway. The car looked like a Flintstones car. It had the engine in, but it had nothing else in it. No seats, no floors at the front. It was just a roll-in kind of chassis. So he put on his driveway all of the other parts that came with this car. And that was 2 massive crates of parts that turned up here in the UK along with the car. And I figured out, actually, like I say, I had a 1990 Testarossa at the time, so we kind of used that to work out exactly what I had, what I was missing, and I figured out I had about 90-95% of parts needed to put this back on the road. And I said to the guy, look, when I was buying it, I said, everyone else is going to sell this for parts, right? It's, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that you've got more in value in parts. Doors, for example, at the time, £3,000 for a door. You know, engine, gearbox, the wheels and things like that, you just can't buy them anymore. And I said, look, I'm the only mad guy in the world who is going to really try and put this car back on the road. And I stuck to my word. I built this car, we put it back on the road. It's probably not as he envisioned it was going to be. Right?
It's left with a rough...
But I spoke to him after. I was like, I've done it, it's there. And, you know, it was in magazines and things at the time as well. So...
I think it's so cool. So I love. Please never paint it because I think that's really.
Well, that's the funny thing actually. When anyone sees this car in the flesh or in magazines or on the YouTube channel, first 2 questions are: when are you going to finish it? And when are you going to paint it? And I'm like, well, this is how I've done it. It's finished.
It's finished. So this is fully road running, right? You can take this out and enjoy it.
Fully road running, fully legal, everything like that. The one thing that I would like to do with this is have it so when we open up the engine lid, everything under there is pristine. The shock value of...
Does it have a similar vibe at the moment to the outside?
It's not too bad.
Go on, can you open it? I want to have a look. I want to see
the
now.
mileage actually on this car, which I don't actually know because there was really not much history with it. Let's just get the official engine lid.
Very official. I could see them
This
in the
was
factory.
before carbon fibre. This was a tree that was grown in the Maranello factory that they cut down for this car.
How many letters have you received from Ferrari lawyers? A few.
Cut that bit!
Oh, mate, it's not looking bad back here.
No, so this car, what does it say? It's 14,000 miles.
14,000 miles.
Yeah. So like I say, when is it going to be finished? What colour? I always say this is it, but you know, if these become £3 million, then maybe I'll put it back together. I never say never.
No, but I think there's so much appeal in the shoddy appearance. I say Vatimos is the perfect name, and you've got the little cuddly rat in the dashboard. But like, mate, even the interior, like it's all kind of beaten to hell, which suggests it's really lived a life. And you could look at it and think, oh, is it a prototype? Is it some kind of bastardized creation? Whatever it might be, but it is still just super cool and unique, and that's what I applaud and love. So. The fact you have this is brilliant.
You can take it anywhere, and I can park this next to a pristine concourse winning Testarossa, and unfortunately everyone's going to be around this one.
I know, I can guarantee it. Well, look, we go from this real ultimate rat past the unfortunately slightly ratty looking starter.
This is not the right fame for me, is it?
To a super pristine looking. I mean, is this a genuine Stradale? It looks immaculate.
So, again, it is a genuine Stradale, but there's always a story.
I knew. I couldn't believe that this would be just a genuine car.
This one, so on the channel, I have just built a missing car that Ferrari should have made. So if you think Challenge Stradale, 2003, then they brought out the 430 Scuderia, 16M, the convertible version, the Speciale, the Aperta, convertible version, Pista Spider, convertible version. There's a missing car in that lineup.
You're right. So essentially every lightweight special variant post the Stradale also got a convertible version.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I have a good friend over in Europe who is an avid collector, shares our problem, addiction, and has actually, I think it's 9, maybe 10 Stradales.
9. How do I meet him? How do I marry him?
We'll book a flight out there.
This ring is coming off immediately. I'm free.
Not just 9, but I don't know if you are aware of 25 cars they built. I believe it was 25 for a Korn's version for Japan.
With the white rear grille.
He's got 8 of them.
Oh my god.
So he came to me knowing what I had done with this. I'd helped him on another car, 355, and he said, look, I would love to build the missing car, but do it properly. So the only way we could do it properly was we bought a Challenge Stradale, genuine Stradale, and we bought a 360 Spider. And long story short, we basically took absolutely everything off of the genuine Strad, put it on the Spider, and spent almost a year building that car. Nut and bolt, rewired the whole car, absolutely everything. We went to stupid extremes like the tyre sticker, having it redone with Challenge Stradale Spider, things like that. And so film it, build it, but buy back the leftovers, so what I call the Frankenstein car. So everything that came off the Spider, that we replaced the CS parts and the genuine shell. But because I'd built or spent 2.5 years planning this through COVID, I also bought every little
so like this project you were just amassing.
This was my my education. I bought all this stuff. I amassed a big stockpile of Stradale parts, so when we'd finished the Spider I was pretty much ready. I bought this car back and we just put it back together. It didn't make sense to my audience because they said, well, why don't you just use all of this stuff off here and put it on the Spider, because this is my car.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't want to take this apart. It's too much sentimental value.
You know, it is polished every day. So that's the reason why I then had to acquire all the parts again. And I've said many times, you just couldn't do it. So I actually amazed myself that I could find eventually every single part that.
Unreal. So you've rebuilt the
it.
car after taking all the parts off. You've rebuilt it, and there we go. Once again, we've got a Stradale still in existence. And I have to say, I love the silver spec.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't keen on it when it turned up as the donor car, but it's definitely grown on me. And one of the things when I bought all the brake system was it had the car originally when it came as the donor had black calipers. The stuff that I bought has got red calipers. I was going to change it, but I've put them on the car and I think they look really good.
It looks really nice because there's lots of red details that you pick up on that car. The madness does continue because, I mean, you know, 2 Stradales, Rattarossa, but you just seem to be amassing more and more of these things. I mean, do we even want to talk about that?
We can talk about that. Now, the problem I have is lack of space, actually. So,
clearly.
Anyone's got any nice, storage?
Get in touch.
So this is a Ferrari 456. This is the GTA version. So it's an auto, unloved. They're quite an unloved Ferrari, these. But again, I am a sucker for a project. This was a non-running one. Again, I got it from the US. And it cost me a lot of money.
Well, see, when you say these things now, I don't quite believe you.
This one was $19,000.
Oh, wow.
So bearing in mind, back in the mid-90s when they launched the 456, they were almost £200,000. That is, in today's terms, probably 400. They suffer with things like this, common problems.
Yeah, windows,
which back in the day, Ferrari were charging 10 grand to fix this. This was something that, you know, a lot of them suffered with. Most of them suffered with delaminating screens. Quite a few common problems. Electrics on these as well. But
yeah, you're signing yourself up to a lot of work, and I get the feeling even you maybe signed yourself up to too much work.
I bought this because I've got 2 young daughters. It's got 2 seats in the back, but it's taken me so long to get around it. They don't even fit in the back. So.
Oh God!
Well, I love it. I love the colour. I love the interior, the contrast here. I like the rear end of this. It's more of a gentleman's Ferrari. I'm not so keen on the front.
Yeah, it's a weird one. As you say, it's an unloved one. But
for $19,000,
wow! Oh my God!
You know, what can you buy for that?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, V12 Ferrari, outrageous. But I know this isn't it. I mean, I know you've got other stuff.
There is.
Where are they? Because you are out of space, my friend.
We need to go and see some of my family members who are kind enough to
oh my God.
house other cars.
I already thought your neighbours were patient. I'm now realising your family are too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. How do we do that?
You take your pick, mate. What is the obvious choice to go in today?
Well,
it stopped raining as well. So
my audience would say Rattarossa, but
we'll save Rat for another day.
That's it. Let's save Rat for a really sunny day. And yeah, the OG CS.
Yeah, just it fell down. We had a hot summer.
Wow. You know what? There's a part of me which is like, oh, this poor car. But then there's also a part of me which goes, I just love that you are just using and abusing this thing. I have never sat in any car with a roof that looks like that, Scott.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. Well, yeah.
This thing needs
what
some
can I
TLC,
say?
mate.
It
This
does
thing
need a
needs
little
some
bit.
TLC.
I tend to maybe just leave it now because when I do that whole kind of restoration on this, mini restoration, it's going to transform it, and we will fix that.
But there you go, because actually, a bit like the Rat, the real Rat, I kind of love this. It's ridiculous, and if mechanically it's super sorted,
it's cool.
What do you care about the rest of it? Do you know what I mean?
It will put a smile on your face, trust me.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
We just got to avoid all the other ratty cars around here.
You've got a few, including
not
a
to
red
hit
one.
the red one.
Yeah, no, the red one's a ratty one as well, don't worry. I mean, this is a dream. You've got so many Ferraris you can't get out of your driveway. You're like the Ferrari collector David Lee of the UK.
Absolutely, I wish. Downshifts on the Stradale, that's the ones.
Oh gosh. Right. Firstly, I'm loving the gold wheels on the rear one.
Well, yeah, it's something I changed last year, and I haven't done a video since.
Okay.
So these are both
Mind the bins.
the bins. Yeah, that's protection. Both American spec cars. You know, you probably see a theme here. 4, 5, 6 Testarossa. These two. I think I actually bought 6 Ferraris at one time and imported them all over from Spain because
they're cheaper.
They were a lot cheaper.
Okay.
It's crazy how the markets fluctuate. So originally I was buying a few Ferraris from Europe because they were a lot cheaper. Scuderia, for example. Then they kind of came up. There was no margin anywhere, and then the US market was a lot cheaper. And again, that's come up now. And in some cases, as we've discussed with the manual cars, they're more expensive than they are here in the UK. So
yeah, absolutely.
these were really cheap. Again, both of these were non-runners. That's a QV. This one is 82 GTSI. They're both Targa versions. And yeah.
Not a lot's happening with them right now?
Not a lot. I'm a bit too busy, Sam, with other projects.
As we've seen. But I mean, good stuff for the future, I suppose.
Well, I did do a lot of videos on this when I started the channel, and it was done here, in the rain, in the snow, the whole lot. We got it all running, and again, that was all part of the learning curve. I didn't really know a lot about these cars. I've had a few 308s, but yeah, we got this one running, and it needs a bit of TLC.
It's a running theme, I think. With
yeah.
But I just love this. I spend my life filming immaculate delivery mileage, fully nut and bolt restored versions of these, and it's so refreshing for me and exciting to see you here with these and having the passion. Okay, fine, maybe they're not being worked on right now, pressure's on me, but it's amazing to see. So look, next time I come back and film with you, I'm going to make that pressure on you right now. One of these has to be running. Don't forget to put the security back in place. Right, so where are we now?
We are at Carrozzeria, where we have one of my very special builds. This is a 512 BBI, 6,400 miles. I rescued off a driveway down in Gloucestershire about 18 months ago. And we're doing a nut and bolt restoration, and these guys kindly allow me some space and some help to do exactly that.
Did you ever imagine that you would be doing this?
No. What started with, like I said, a little headlight adjustment on my first Ferrari 348 turns into a full restoration, and I'm still learning going through this. You know, there's bits on this I've never done that I'm now, you know, teaching myself how to do. So we're starting to put some things on. All the frame has been resprayed. As you can see, Coney helped me with all of the suspension. They refurbished. This is all the original suspension on here. They done all the, yeah, we had all of the arms plated. Coney rebuilt all the original suspension, so it's going to be perfect. This car when it's finished.
Amazing. And then look at all this.
That's the all the brake system ready to go back in. Next job is we're going to be these guys are going to be respraying it. We're going to stick with its original colour because it was the only one built in white. And yeah, this is the one that is now going to take up the bulk of my time on the channel.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. And as I say, like, this is insane when you think of, you know, the cars we were looking at earlier definitely felt like a hobby. You know, obviously I know this is very serious for you, but it felt like something a hobbyist could do. Yeah. This is a proper. This is what I see happening at DK Engineering or
I'm sure DK would love to get their hands on this one. But yeah, like I say, it's a labour of love. There's a lot of time that has gone into this already, and there's going to be a heck of a lot more. Just the respray on this, it is down to bare metal. This was not galvanised, so it survived remarkably well.
Can I ask my last question? How on earth do you know what to do?
I ask my audience. I just figure it out as I go. Figure it out, yeah.
Well, good luck. I cannot wait to see how this ends up.